So when you busting a nut, whatever space you're in prior is going to be an add-on to what it is that you're creating energetically to begin to play out once you bust that nut. So as you're going through the process of getting that nut, whatever thoughts and feelings that you used to add on to what was making you nut and have this climax, if you want to slow it down and really want to go deep into detail, that's what it's going to look like. That's what it's going to actually look like as it plays out in the external. Not to say it's going to have a face that you can draw, which you could, but anyway, once that nut actually busts and what was on your mind right then and there is all of these thoughts and feelings is going to be the color that these events will play out when it comes to how things manifest and how we create reality based on what we're thinking and feeling, and how these synchronicities and these correspondences are quite apparent because we created them within. So when these things accumulate, and it accumulates quickly, even if you try to switch up your intentions or your space that you're in as you're going through the process, you already have colored on the paper. You already have accumulated certain energetic codes or energies, signatures and shit that has no choice but to, and not to say that you can't manipulate it massively, but see, when you're nutting, you ain't on that type of time, most people, unless you're spiritual or some shit. But I noticed that though. I do notice that masturbation or busting nuts or having sex, if you can have a spiritual relationship with somebody and y'all can be on a certain type of time with each other. I haven't experienced that, so I can't really speak on that. But I know that's magic in that because I can see certain things just based off of my own observations by myself now that I'm in a different space spiritually than where I was before. For the good and the bad, I can see how certain things play out based on certain events that take place externally that trigger certain emotions and feelings on me from the internal, and that is going to play a role when things have to come back up again. As within, so without. It's a mechanism, like Uriel say. But we talking about busting a nut. That's the mechanism sped up. If you can really take an observer's perspective and look at what is happening, you would have to wait till after the fact, but go back to it and think about what was going on and what was taking place. Especially if you become aware of certain things and certain spaces within yourself, especially if you have taken a seat of observation on purpose. Come back to it and look at yourself now, whether it's been 10 years ago. Look at the space that you remember that you were in, so that you can see what was actually going on from your own observation. Once you see something, experience something for yourself, you know you're not lying. Even if somebody don't have the wisdom to know what you're saying has merit, because they never have, on different realms. Shit be taking places in the same in the same fashion, but the shit ain't nothing alike. So, but if you can see though, you'll see how all this shit is the same. Even the shit I did 15 years ago. Now I can see how what was actually taking place within myself that I wasn't in the space enough and aware enough to see before. But I can use that as a lesson if I can learn from it. And you can think that you have learned from previous experiences and move on and never think about them again. No, you need to go back to those spaces to see and to reevaluate, to revise. You can change the shit if you want. But you first got to go and assess and look at the situation with a more mature eye, or, from a whole different space. So now you're like how you switch up judges because this judge may have certain things that's not beneficial to the case, so we need to switch judges. You can switch spaces and look at things with non-biases and be able to see how it don't matter what the status quo may look at things as. Like I was talking about busting the nut, how that may seem taboo, so that makes you not be able to talk about it. But this is important to know, because this is how things manifest at its core. And this is the live example that we can see for ourselves. Nobody can show us or have to show us. Every time we bust a nut, we can pay attention to the way the Big Bang took place, masculine or female and male. And you can bust nuts mentally with people. I've done it. And saw the orgasm and how it played. Man, look, we ain't gonna go that far, but for real though, it's crazy. Anyway.